Chris Cuomo apparently has some plans for a possible return to, financial success, if not a career, but we can talk about those possibilities too. Multiple sources apparently are telling Page Six that Chris Cuomo is ready to dig in his heels by claiming that Zucker, former head of CNN, not only knew about his dealings with Andrew Cuomo, which was one part of the scandal that saw him stepping down, but that the network boss had his own inappropriate dealings with Andrew. He is prepared to demand not the $18 million that are currently left on his contract or were when he stepped down, but as much as $60 million. The source told Page Six he wants Megyn Kelly money. So I don't know, what do you make of that? Like, he did have a significant portion of his contract still left to go. He apparently wants more money than that. What do you think the odds are of him getting that?
I don't think there are any odds at all of him getting that, unless, from my own sort of dealings with network contracts and all that sort of thing, and when contracts are not extended or they're cut short, it's hard to ask for more money than what is left on your contract, unless you suffered some sort of damages, they fired you improperly. Maybe he's now threatening, hey, I'm gonna file a wrongful termination lawsuit against all of you, which would be the balance of his contract plus damages, but I don't see how that gets to $60 million. I think this is just a negotiating ploy, if anything, and I would frankly be surprised if he even got the balance of the $18 million. Clearly, he violated CNN rules by advising his brother, by not fully disclosing the advice that he was given and how often he was in contact with his brother. And we can all say, sure, I would advise my brother as well. But if you're told you have to tell your employer about it, you have to do that, and he didn't do it. Now, CNN's also in a tough spot because of Jeff Zucker not disclosing his relationship when it began, and also because this largely flows out of the Cuomo investigation that Jeff Zucker got in some trouble. But I kind of separate those two. I think Jeff Zucker's not coming back for sure. I don't think Chris Cuomo's going to get most of the money that he's looking for, but he's going to try.
Yeah. Do you? Just out of curiosity, we don't have a lot of information to go on in this, or at least I don't know publicly available information. But Chris Cuomo, in terms of like future ventures, do you see him ever, like Megyn Kelly, like she had a few shows that she tried to do or whatever. Do you see Chris Cuomo getting a show again? Do you think he's gonna go like with an independent podcast or something? What do you think?
That's a great question, John. And I never thought that Megyn Kelly would get another show, but she did. She has her own sort of podcast or production company. I think Chris Cuomo, he burned some bridges at ABC News. I don't think he's going back there. I don't think he'll never go back to CNN because there are too many people at CNN who don't like him. I think he burned some bridges there. So a lot of people in the CNN world who are going to other places who will not hire him. But Chris Cuomo's going to get enough money, or has enough money, that if he wanted to start his own production company, if he wanted to start his own online show, if he wanted production deals with Discovery or somebody like that, sure. I suppose he's a fine enough broadcaster and talent to be able to pull that off. I just don't see him ever having the kind of perch, the kind of profile that he had at CNN.
Yeah, and like we've said, we do this literally every time. We like needlessly go out of our way to like talk about any potential bias. Chris Cuomo is one of the only people on mainstream media that has had TYT people on. Like he's I would not classify him as a massive progressive or anything, but he was one of the few who would actually bring on progressive guests from time to time. So we're just putting that out there. I believe we are accurately and fairly reporting on him, regardless of whatever potential bias you think me appearing on there a couple of years ago might provide. Final question, and this is obviously the most substantive one, David. Considering Andrew and Chris as brothers, Chris was once sort of playfully lampooned by John Oliver for his Instagram activity, which would often see him in the gym. Do you think it bothers him that Cuomo-sexual came about as a thing to refer to Andrew?
Well,
that's got to sting.
There was a lot of chatter when all the Andrew Cuomo sexual stuff came out, that it was only a matter of time, right, before Chris Cuomo had his own sort of issues. And there was a former network executive who said that Chris Cuomo was very inappropriate with her, and he apologized, all this sort of thing. But Chris Cuomo has something of a reputation of being a ladies' man, even after he got married. So, did he treat his exes, his mistresses very well? Sometimes, who knows? But I think he was a guy who liked the sort of the cachet of being known as a ladies' man, and sometimes that can come back to haunt you.
Yeah, it is a burden, I will say. Anyway, Anyway, with that said, that's potentially the futures for them. We will see. Nobody really goes away in American politics. I mean, even Sarah Palin came back eventually. So just bear that in mind.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.